Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
What's up, gang? I just got done interviewing an incredible guest of mine, Mr. Brady McDonald, an incredible human being, overall just genuine individual that really is crushing in all areas of life. But we deep dived into mindset, and what you're about to come and find is that this man has done some amazing things in just the last few years because he started training his mind to really identify and know that he can do these things in so many ways. So this was something like, I got goosebumps on me right now, but this is something that really rocked me, this interview, and I know it's about to rock you. So let me just, go over his bio really quick so that you can understand the caliber of this individual in just a moment. But then afterwards, I really want to specify a moment afterwards on what this interview can do for you shortly after. So without further ado, Brady McDonald, he's a CEO, father, husband, real estate investor. In the past, he's done multifamily, jumping in at 2015, new construction, entitled land at this point. And so it focuses on entitlements and really changing the land so that he can basically flip the dirt and sell it to big companies that will build out a self-storage and so forth. So he's in Canada as well as coming back and forth to the US, doing business in both in Florida and so forth. But so that's his real estate backgrounds. Much more we'll deep dive into in the podcast. But on top of that, father, husband, real estate investor, and ultra endurance athlete, to say the least. Like many, he had settled into the average life, feeling the frustrations of untapped potential. Driven by 0 to 100 philosophy, he shattered that mold, transforming himself within a year into a symbol of relentless self-improvement and self-discipline. I love it. Fueled by the determination, he went from challenging personal hurdles to completing grueling 100-mile ultra marathons and the Ultraman Triathlon, one of the world's toughest endurance events. His entrepreneurial path is marked by both audacious goals and setbacks, fueling his rise as the battle-tested CEO of companies both in Canada and the US. True to his 0 to 100 approach, Brady's dedication and philosophy shines. He has raised over $100,000 for charities, demonstrating the importance of giving back. His mission is to inspire others, especially those feeling stagnant, to unleash their potential, providing it's never too late to transform your life. 100%. Amen. This guy right here is going to rock you in so many ways because he's not just an incredible businessman. He's not just an incredible father and husband. And he only started running just a couple years ago, 2 years ago. And it was just all a mindset shift. In 2023, March 2023, he literally just about a year ago, he stopped drinking. And after that, it just transformed in this whole last year of him running a 50-mile, 100-mile, and doing all these other crazy things. And so he wasn't doing any training before that. He's signing up to do another ridiculous run coming up that he's not doing any training for. It's a mindset shift and a team and investing in yourself and really going all out that he's mastered that mindset and that shift, right? And believing that you can. So we deep dive into so many different subjects and even recovery after all of this crazy limits that he pushes his body to. But when there's a will, there's a way. I got it on my arm right here, and I'm a big advocate of that. And so I just want to encourage you guys that if you're anything like me, this episode right here really rocked me in so many ways, and I'm praying that it does the same for you. So enjoy, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. Otherwise, we will see you on the inside. So stay tuned. God bless. Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I am super stoked today to have Brady McDonald in the house with us today. What's up, man? How we doing?
I'm doing great, brother. Just happy to be here. Looking forward to chatting with you and sharing your following.
Yeah, man. So we met in a mastermind with Ken Clothier, the boardroom, which you've been in for years now as well, I believe, correct?
Yeah, it's been only about a year and a half or so, but yeah, it seems like it's been a long time. It's family.
Yeah. Well, then I've been following your journey almost from the start then and seeing I didn't know prior, but hearing some of your story of that mindset shift and kind of the mediocrity and then going to what the hell you really developed at this point, it's pretty mind blowing. So you fell in love with the 0 to 100 type of philosophy, right? And then you started just running with it.
No pun intended.
Yeah, physically and mentally. And so at this point, you've done an ultra marathon, an ultra triathlon. I don't even know what the hell that is.
Yeah. So I've done a 50-mile run, a 100-miler, and then just did Ultraman, which is like a 3-day, just insane. Like it's like a triple Ironman. It was next level bonkers, but.
Okay, and then you just did all these things within how long was the time frame? About a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, it was actually a year. So so what happened was I really changed my lifestyle in March last year. So our business was bleeding like insane, like when the interest rates went through the roof. And I ultimately, I'd been drinking socially like since I was 14, 15 years old. And I found myself, using it to have fun, using it to socialize. And in this situation, I was using it to make the fear go away because the business was just insane, right? We have a big real estate portfolio and it all just started kind of crumbling down like interest rates and stuff. And so I quit drinking in March of 2023. And that's when I got into ultra distance running and stuff. So I trained 3 months, did a 50-miler. And, once I cut out the booze and cut out I slept better. I had more energy. I became a better father, better husband. I was more committed to solving the problem, but also just becoming a great person. And so for me, a big aspect of that was fitness. And that's why I went down the deep end in this endurance stuff.
And so before March 2023, were you doing any running? Any walking, anything crazy?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I did like the very first thing that to get me on this path, I did the 75-day bar back in 2021.
Nice.
And that was the first time I didn't drink, since I was 14. So that I realized, okay, doing something physically hard is really good for your mindset. And staying super active physically kept me from socializing and just, but basically poisoning my body like most people do. But then, after I was done that challenge, naturally, we just didn't go back to normal life, right? So, but before I got into this stuff in March last year, I did 2 half Ironmans. So it's about a 6-hour event, pretty hard stuff. They were by far the hardest things I'd ever done. That was what really made the connection to doing hard things and really cleaning up my habits and becoming a better person, right? So once I eventually cut out all the drinking and cut out all the bullshit, that's when everything got better, like forever, right? And so it took time, man. It took 3 years to kind of figure out, this connection to working my body physically, to developing the mindset, getting rid of some of these bad habits, filling the socialization void with fitness.
I love it. And so I'm doing 75 hard now. It's my 5th time doing it, but so you've done it once in the past, and that was the transformation that mindset shift.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What was your experience with it?
It was great, man. I mean, it was the first time I had the clarity and the confidence, and I just saw the best version of myself within those 75 days, right? And it proved to myself that I can do hard things.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing about the 75 hard is it's a hard thing to it's not like it's a habit. It's not a lifestyle change. So you're not going to do that forever. So one of the things that we actually did, but the basic of the idea of it is amazing. It develops the habits, right? That we need to have success, not only in obviously in this fitness mindset challenge, but also in business and parenting and other aspects of life. So we started the 0 to 100 day challenge, which is sort of similar, but it's only 1 workout a day. You still stick to a diet. There's still no booze, right? But if you do just even that, which is a lifestyle change that is, people can do this for the rest of their life, you'll have the same results ultimately. And so, that's kind of what we're gearing to helping people more towards is really try to change how we do this every single day, not just for 75 or 100 days.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, my personal experience when I have done 75 hard in the past, it was really eye-opening to see how much, because you don't think that you can do it. And then once you realize like, oh, my body can do it. Like I can push through this. You realize it's not even a physical thing. It's more of a mental type of breakthrough. And then, but I realized every time once I got done 75 hard, it was almost like a crack addict. It's like, oh, I'm getting out. I can go back. Then I would just binge on horrible food and then feel horrible. Like, drinking alcohol, it messes up the sleep drastically. It's all like scientifically proven. You could look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all these things that it really starts making sense. And I'm only in like my 8th day right now of starting again, but I just feel so clean already. Like already.
It doesn't take long. It doesn't take. Yeah.
And it's also like prioritizing yourself first instead of like, I think as guys, it's very natural to get addicted to the business and like doing this for the family and all these other things instead of, you really, to be the best version in all those other areas, it's really, you got to focus on you.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I talk about that a lot. And I think that's, because that's on what, especially women. I think the easiest example I can always give is like women, because honestly, like, and everybody has a mom, right? So generally moms and, wives, they look after the kids and they look after the household, and they look after the husband, they look after everybody. And who do they look after last? Themselves. And they often don't even ever get to look after themselves.
Yeah.
But like, when you get, like, I know when I started looking after myself, then I became a better version of me. And so I could serve everybody better, right? I was that much calmer, and so that is so true for everybody, but specifically women too. Like, just imagine, right? And so I always like to let the women know, like, think about it. They need to be selfish a little bit and give themselves 45 minutes a day. Yeah. Right. Get that exercise in, because they'll be only able to serve their husband and their kids and their household, all their relationships that much better, because that's just naturally who they are. Right. And so, yeah, I fully agree with that.
I love it, man. So talk to me. So you're in Canada right now, but you are Canadian. You're from Canada in the igloo area. So talk to me. Why real estate? Because you jumped in around 2015, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And then so you're in the U.S. for some real estate as well. Now you kind of flip dirt, but in the past you were doing a lot of ground up construction and some multifamily. So why real estate though? Did you have family members, friends? How'd you get inspired?
Yeah, so we started in 2015. Before that, like, I was a utility arborist, so I actually trained men and women in Ontario how to try to climb trees and rope trees down around the power lines and not kill them. Yeah, so it was a good career. But I got to a point about 12 years into it, and I just realized, like, I've got limited income potential, limited personal development, and limited time freedom. And so we started looking at what was next. And I always had the entrepreneurial bug at 11 years old. Family didn't have any money. So I had actually started Brady's Lawn Care and Snow Removal at 11 to pay for the goalie equipment and stuff like that, right? I knew how to solve problems. I knew how to make money. And I always had a tree service on the side, a side hustle. And so we started looking at developing self-storage and realized, okay, we have $150,000. Like, we're not doing that. We looked at doing network marketing, and we met a guy, happened by chance. My wife was a real estate appraiser, but we met a guy who was a full-time investor, and he had like 78 or 87 doors, got that backwards, at that time. And he bought 16 of them already that year by June. So he was doing some volume, and we're like, holy crap. I talked to him, realized, and this is part of the 0 to 100 mindset. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And this is just true for everybody to know, if you want to accomplish something, there's 4 things that need to be true. Number 1 is that you need to know that it's possible. So that's what that guy did for me. Expose the opportunity to you. Okay. Number 2 is you need to believe in yourself. Right. And I do. I believe that I can accomplish anything I want. Right. And then number 3 is you take massive action. Of course, you never quit. And that's ultimately how we've done everything, all the successes that we've had through, and how we've ultimately got out of the challenges. Right. But yeah, so we realized that, we determined strategy, and we took action. We bought a house, converted it to duplex, refinanced it, burned it out, and improved the strategy. And then we bought more and started building the construction company, property management company, etc. Yeah. And eventually, it just led to, we eventually quit the job 2 years later, scaled the company up, and we were, traveling a lot. Just realized, there's more to this life. And, we like the warm weather, and I started getting into this fitness mode, and it's just a lot easier to do that in Florida, other places. So why not live where most people vacation? So we had it on our vision board. We're a huge proponent for vision boards because it's just like, it's back to that knowing it's possible or visualization.
Yep.
And, and most things on those boards come true. And so this moving to Florida was one of those things. And, it's the best. I mean, we love the US. We love the people, the entrepreneurs. It's just next level compared to where we're from.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I've always been a big advocate of the vision boards. Jen and I always create ours. And then a lot of things what's funny is like seeing our old vision boards, it comes to fruition later on, which is incredible. I love like manifesting that. Rod Cleef actually put me on game on something of like, hey, having the vision board and actually seeing it is huge. But then also having that second piece of actually like physically touching it and experiencing it. Like if you want that car, go test drive the car, go like,
Right.
And then you're that much closer just to like manifesting it and putting it into your life. So I love that. I think that's such a great tip. So you go back and forth to Canada and Florida now?
So we have an E2 investor visa in the US. So we stayed primarily down there, but we're just building on an island up here, which was a vision board item from 2020. And it's coming to fruition. Yeah. So we've got a new construction on this island. It's all granite. It's beautiful. So that's why I'm hanging out in this shed right now, which is going to be my office and studio. In about 2 weeks, it'll be done. Yeah. So we're here, but most of the time we're down there. So we'll spend 10 months down in Florida in the US and then 2 months up here for the summer.
I love it. And so you're getting a crew each day to come out to the island?
Dude, I'm the boat taxi.
Yeah, boat taxi driver.
That's all I've been doing. It's like, I'm trying to get work done. Like fitness has gone out the window for the last 2 weeks. It's like, I'm a full-time taxi service. I should start charging.
That's hilarious. That's funny. Okay, so with real estate stuff, you've done the multifamily, you've done the new construction. Right now, you're doing a lot of entitlement of land for self-storage stuff. Is that basically in the U.S., or are you still doing stuff in Canada as well?
No, so we're actually exiting Canada. So
why is that?
To take full advantage to take full advantage of like the tax benefits in the U.S.
Okay.
So we have to be either right now we're a tax citizen of Canada. So to exit, we basically have to sell all of our assets and be a tax citizen. So we pay tax first in the U.S. It's just so much more beneficial that way, especially being a real estate professional in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
So we're selling everything up here. We still have like 35 properties or something like that to go. But primarily everything's in the U.S. So we've got a remote team. There's 15 currently that work for the company. It's called Barefoot Land Co. And we'll source land off market that is prime for self-storage. So it may need rezone, may need special use, conditional use approvals, but we'll do geo-environmental surveys, preliminary site plans, and we'll really tee these sites up for big developers that have the big pockets that already have funding to go and develop it. So we'll get it under contract and then essentially do a double close.
Yep.
And add obviously a fee with a bunch of zeros on it.
Yeah. Now the timelines on those can be a couple years in some cases, correct? Depends on what state and so forth, right? But yeah. Yeah,
like the quickest that they can get done is like 4 to 6 months, maybe. I mean, realistically, with the bigger buyers, that have funding, that they're not screwed around. They're not closing on it generally until they have permits, which is going to push it 9 months to a year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what does the team consist of currently? Like how many people are actually helping move this?
So right now there's 15 of us. So, and it's growing pretty quick. We started it, we've done this a couple times, just like very entrepreneurial, flying by the seat of our pants, proved the strategy essentially. And then we started building the team. So we started essentially in November of last year. And ramped it up. So it's just been about 8 months. Everybody's virtual. We've got people across the U.S. as well is in the Philippines. And so we're finding, sites off market through, various ways. And then we basically do all the underwriting in a giant funnel, right? So all the underwriting happens. There are a lot of these key metrics that we need to know for supply and demand and rental rates and population and income, household income, and all these types of things. Our team do all that remote. And eventually it gets to a point where we cold call them and start getting a hold of these owners, right? And so, I mean, it's just a glorified version of wholesaling.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost like wholesaling is just like on steroids. And
and nobody's giving us the leads, right? So we have to create the leads.
Yep. I like that. So the podcast, it is geared towards educating, motivating, and preparing people to take action. And so some of our listeners may be like brand new and trying to figure out the different strategies. There's so many different strategies out there to make money in real estate. This is just one of them. Talk to me, like, what's your opinions and thoughts on somebody just getting started and actually being interested in like, hey, this sounds good. Obviously, it's going to take time. And so they need to have the capital and so forth to kind of weather the storm and be okay with the time. But would you say this strategy is for somebody on the newer side?
Yeah, I don't think it's like, I mean, this, what we're doing specifically is definitely not just because it costs. I mean, the investment that we'll make $100,000 investment and it still could not come to fruition. So it's definitely like higher risk, but like, the reward is also like, could be $500 to $1 million, right? But the skills associated to what we're doing is something that everybody can't do. Because, I mean, if you think about, if you go and look for a lot or a property that has a large lot in a residential area, and it's, and if you can take it and sever or subdivide that house and the side lot off of it, and sell the lot and maintain or sell the house, right? That's how, for example, like we would buy houses in Barrie, Ontario for like, say, $500,000 to have a really large lot. We would take a piece off the side, sell it for $200,000 and still have a $500,000 house, right? And so that process of getting into the zoning ordinance, understanding the different zoning codes and the frontages, the lot sizes, all the different bylaw requirements is the exact same skill that we're utilizing today to get these entitlements approved for self-storage. And so, yeah, this is definitely a way you can make a ton of money without doing a ton of deals. Right? Because people need land, especially if it's infill.
I like that. And it kind of just comes down to like your 4 steps, right? The mindset of really knowing it's possible, believing in yourself, take massive action, then never quit. But again, this is something that it's going to take a good amount of time, higher risk, higher reward, potentially. Have you ever ran into a situation where like some of the land that you're trying to buy, it's owned by the city or like a historic park and they're just not budging?
Yeah, I mean, some of the, for sure. I mean, we try to buy all kinds of lands, but like, for example, like we've got one under contract now. It was what was it? It's a church. No, it's school board, like a big school board, and they own land. And they actually sold it to us. Well, we have it under contract for $200,000 under their tax assessment.
Wow.
So another city that we're in negotiations right now, they've got a parcel that they're selling us. I mean, all you got to do is ask. I mean, it goes back to that thing. Like if you want something in life, you got to ask for it, right? And so you never know, the thing is we're obviously doing this at scale. So when you're in a little town and you're being very niche and looking for what, it's going to be a lot more challenging. We're looking broad range. So, every municipality or city is not going to be selling their land at all times, right? And some of that may require some relationships internally. Right. And so one of those big things, if you are local and you're staying within your geographical area, creating and generating the relationships with the municipalities is critical, right? Oh, yeah. Especially if you're dealing anything with planning and zoning, those relationships are going to be key.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I'm actually firsthand in this right now. There's a property I just bought a couple weeks ago right down the street. I live in Old Town, San Diego, so it's more like old school right here. And you have to go through Old Town, but you also have to go through the city of San Diego for any planning and development and so forth. But the property that I just bought on the front yard, basically the little sliver right there, is actually owned by Presidio Park. And it's not the city, it's a different kind of community state park, I guess. And so I'm trying to figure out how to buy this little piece of land. And so, yeah, I think something like this, it really is going to come down to the relationships and working with the planning and zoning department.
Yeah. And if they're not using the land, then it may be pretty easy, right? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. If it's just a sliver that's unusable, you just have to build a justification case. You got to think about, the thing about municipalities is that they're government workers. So no offense to everybody listening, but like not all of them are are overly ambitious. Yeah. And so if you make their life easy, then you will stand a chance. Yeah. And so put into work, create a justification report of some variation. That's what I would suggest. And have ChatGPT do this for you and make it super easy that they could take this to whoever they need to actually report to see if you can buy it.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. So with the different like ultra man and triathlons and everything else that you've actually done, the 100-mile, what's the next one that you're going to be doing?
I don't know. I'm still, I've kind of been on a hiatus. I feel like I've been super lazy just dealing with this cottage. And so I did last night actually just sign up for a half Ironman. It's a month. It's July 7th. So I probably won't even train for it. It's kind of, it's still a 6-hour event. But I just came off, like I said, Ultraman was 6.2 mile swim, so a triathlon. Yeah. 6.2 mile swim, 280 mile bike, and a 52 mile run at the end, right? So I think I can kind of just wing this one. This is kind of small, so which is just crazy to think because a year ago this would have been extremely hard, right? And but I'm gonna do like 150, probably another couple 100-milers, 150, maybe 200 next year. So I'm going to get through this little period and then I'm going to put something big on the calendar. Huge proponent to having something on the calendar.
Yeah. When you run 100 miles, 150 miles, like what's the time frame for that? That's just nonstop, a 24-hour type of thing?
Yeah. So when I ran in October last year. I went to Jesse. There's an event called Running Man. So it was around a 1 mile loop, which makes it kind of crazier. Yeah. And it was like overgrown, like cow pasture. And so, I started at 4:30 in the morning and I started running. Of course, it got dark and it was super foggy. And, by the time you're into like 5 to 6 hours, it's starting to suck. Yeah. And so I had a crew with me running the entire time. And as time went on, of course, I was talking for the first few hours and having conversation. And then that kind of weeded away. And eventually, 12 hours in, I actually had to just tell the guys hey, I just need silence and just don't talk to me. So they would just talk to themselves, right? While we're running around in circles. And then eventually it got so bad, like the pain, like you're in this place called pain hole, right? So if you can imagine, everybody's probably, if you've worked out or you've ran or done anything fitness and you've got this great music and it's like this pop and it's keeping you motivated and all of a sudden the wrong song comes on and it can actually like halt you in your tracks. You're like, oh my God, this is horrible. I need to change the song. Yeah. Well, that is what it's like the entire time when you're running, in these long distances. It's just like that irritation of that song needing to change. So I don't listen to music. I don't listen to anything. Eventually, I just can't even listen to any people, like anybody else. I just get in my own head. Yep. And they call this the pain hole because it is the pain hole. Wow. Yeah. Like it's just like a dark place, man. And like you're by yourself and obviously you can't hear anything. You can't talk to people. And it's like, you can smile and stuff, but it's like, you're just trying to talk yourself into moving body. Yep. Like you're going through some serious pain nonstop. And sometimes it gets better. Like you actually get a second, a third, or like 50th wins, and it gets better, and it comes and goes, and it moves, right? And it's really based on how much calories you're intaking and making sure you're fueling the body. Like the body is a machine. Oh right? Yeah. And the thing about the body is the body will do whatever you tell it to, right? And so you need to be super intentional on what you think to say to yourself, what you say out loud, how you're thinking, trying to cheese those thoughts, right? To make sure that you tell your body what to do, because the body will go. Yeah. Right. This is the weakest part of all of us. For sure. Right? 100%. I love that. So Jesse Itzler, I remember him speaking on stage in the past, and he was saying, when he was running with his trainer, the ex-Marine, I think, and he was like running up to the water station and he was tired and he was like, dude, I can't go anymore. He was like, hey, we're going to do something different. And right when we get to the water station, we're just going to shout out like, hey, I'm unstoppable. Like I can do this. I never get tired. And it's the weirdest thing. I never get tired, Yeah. And just changing that mindset because our words are so powerful and people don't realize this. Our words are so friggin' powerful. And we got this machine up here of like, that if we feed it any negative bullshit, it's going to really hold us back. And so it's really powerful to see getting into, that dark hole basically to make sure that, you are feeding yourself the proper way and getting your mindset ready to keep moving forward. Talk to me, what type of nutrition were you actually taking during that whole time? Because it's like a 24-hour time frame, right? For the I ended up running it in 22 hours. So I ran straight. I didn't stop. I didn't sit down at all. And so I was eating like bananas, these like wafer things. Like the biggest thing I ate was some ramen noodles with some sodium. But like I was eating like, candies and jelly beans, and try to eat like 200 calories an hour, 200 to 300 calories an hour. And so generally it's not overly great food that you're eating. You're trying to eat low. You're trying to eat like foods that are high in carbs that will, convert to energy fast, right? High sugar stuff. So there was a few gels and stuff like that, but also electrolytes. You need to make sure that you get enough sweat, salt, and different electrolytes in your body so you maintain the water that we're drinking. So
that's so powerful. Did you have any trainers or people along the way that was really giving you guidance and helping? Or did you just go down this rabbit hole of learning all this?
Yeah, I think I used to do it the hard way and try to figure it out myself. And I still do some other shit like that. But cut to the chase. I think this is the biggest tip that I'll probably tell everybody here is that doing anything yourself is kind of stupid. There is, although the data is out there, to figure out how to run 100 miles or to buy your first investment property or to raise capital. It's just when you can surround yourself with the right people for one, so have a community, right? But then also align yourself with a mentor coach that has your best interest in mind, can show you around the corners, show you your blind spots. It's literally, turns what takes normally decades and tons of mistakes into days, right? So that's true in business. That's true in every aspect of life. And so with regards to fitness, I watched Jesse Itzler do Ultraman, right? Yeah. And that was 2 years ago. And I watched this guy do that. I'm like, I didn't know Jesse at the time. I don't well now, but I'm like, that guy's insane. That. And I started to make a connection to him doing this 3-day Ultraman thing. He's got a YouTube on it called Endure on YouTube. I made the connection to him having this mindset but then also being really great at business. There's something to do with that, right? And I just said to myself, I need to get close to him. So I got super intentional, was able to get close to him, became a founding member at one of his companies and got close to him. And when I met Jesse and got surrounded by him and his crew, I met his fitness coach. And then I hired his fitness coach. So his coach is my coach, Chris is his name. And so I hired Chris, and Chris is still my coach. He saw me through the 50 miler, the 100 miler, Ultraman. And it's just again, why would you do that yourself? I see people try 100 milers all the time and fail. Yeah. Because they're not getting the right advice. They're not putting in the right training. Right. And they don't have people holding them accountable. Right. It's just, hire a coach. That's how I did it. But, I definitely didn't do it alone. And when it comes down to these longer distance stuff, it's really about who you surround yourself, your crew. Right. You're not just going to go out there and run 100 miles without crew. You're not going to do Ultraman without crew. So you need to be surrounded with some pretty amazing people. And fortunately, I've got lots of great friends in the Boardroom Mastermind, as you know. Yeah. And so we do some of this crazy stuff together. Yeah.
So you really need a team helping throughout the whole process. So you do have a little army behind you that's actually running alongside with you, taking breaks. They're not running the whole 100, I'm sure, but
exactly.
But they're coming in and out.
Yeah. It's a great thing to do together. It's when you get to going down this path, it's just like being in business by yourself. Yeah. It's a lonely world. Yeah.
So it is such a mindset thing when you are running so far and then you get to that pain point and you're like, you want to shut down, you want to quit. Is there anything that you've done, special or something that has helped trick your mindset to keep pushing and not give up on yourself?
Yeah, usually for me, when I want to quit, it was always because the music, when I started running and started getting into fitness, it was generally during the actual activity, it was usually because of a lack of motivation or a decrease, something that affected my mood. Yeah. And generally music. So I actually stopped listening to music for the month. If I'm going to do something really long, then that's how I deal with it. Because I know my mind, if I can maintain my emotions, which I can, then I'm fine in my own head. Right. But so there's little things like that. And that's common for a lot of people. If you're going, a lot of us use music and other things for motivation, but it's kind of like a drug. It can go up and down, right? Just like alcohol and other things, right? And so that's one of the biggest things is just trying to maintain your emotional state and just maintain power knowing that you can do this. And when it gets hard, this is the other thing that's really powerful. And this is powerful. This is true in all aspects of life. Right. And just telling yourself constantly that you do hard things and expect it to get hard. Right. So the reason we're going to fail often is because we're hoping it gets easier. We hope that it's easier than we think it is. Yeah. Right. Or we just think we hope that it's easy. And then when it gets hard, we're like, oh my gosh, this sucks. I can't do this, right? But when you change the mindset that hey, I do hard shit and I know it's going to get hard. And when it does get hard, I'm going to push harder. That is what changes. Because then when it does get hard, which is inevitable, it always gets hard. Everything always gets hard.
Yes.
Then you are like, hey, I'm ready for this. Let's go, bitch. Like you and I have been mentally preparing for you to show up.
Yeah.
Right. And so that is another thing. It's like, aha, you're here. Okay. It's time to get gritty here and get this figured out.
I love it. Dude, I always feel like I'm the psychopath of not, like, I never listen to any music when I'm running or working out when I see everybody else around me always, listening to something. And, but it is something like I just feel like I need to lock in, and maybe it is the emotion thing. And so I just feel like usually the damn earbuds are falling out of my ear or something. And it's just something I don't want to have to pay attention to. And I just run. But a lot of times, like the whispering of like the little bitch will come in and like try to, say like, oh, you're tired, stop, And so some things that I've done in the past is basically just look, as far as I can to something, some kind of object. And I'll say, well, if I can make it to there, then I'll take a rest. And then once I get there, I'm trying to prep myself again to keep pushing. And so sometimes I get a little extra out of it, but I've never ran the 50, 100 miles like you have. So.
But you can. It's just a choice.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a choice. I never thought, dude, that I would never want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. No, because I didn't love running, and I do enjoy it now, but I didn't. I'm like, well, I didn't do it out of love. I did it to develop this.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just, so it's like, and I don't care what shape you are in, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a choice. And if you decide to do it, not because you love to do it, but because you want to become the best version of you, that's the right choice. Right.
I love that.
Yeah, because you're not gonna give up on it if it's for you, if it's to better you, to become the better version for your kids, for your business, for your family, for your wife, husband, right?
Yeah. What does the recovery phase look like? Like once you stop running and you actually got to the, hey, let me slow it down, and you get to sit for a second, like I'm sure you're like done.
Yeah. So normally, like I will after the 50 miler, dude, I was out of it. I ended up in the hospital for 3 days.
You did? Oh man.
Yeah. So I had rhabdo, dehydration. So
that was your first one though, right?
First one, yeah.
Okay.
And so it was because it was still hot, dude. It was 109 degrees Fahrenheit. We didn't know what we were doing. I don't think we did it wrong. I think I just didn't hydrate properly after.
Okay.
And I was like I was pretty disoriented and kind of loopy. But we didn't know what we didn't know, right? And so we would do it differently. The next time when I ran 100, it was a lot different. Obviously, the body goes into shock, gets real stiff. You need to end up going to the bathroom because you haven't eaten. You haven't gone to the washroom in 24 hours. See, that happens usually fast. And then it's just trying to eat a lot of food and try to get some sleep. And so I've had a Toradol before, like half a Toradol, knock myself out because that sleep is horrendous and painful after that. So trying to get rest and food is to let your body recover.
So the sleep afterwards is not good.
It's horrible, dude. Your body is like, what the heck did you just do?
Yeah.
So your heart rate, you'll go into sweats. Your heart rate will be super fluctuating because it's all out of whack. And your body's in shock.
Yeah.
So it's some horrible sleep the next day. And then after that, like after the 50 mile, my legs were pretty destroyed for like IT bands stuff for probably like a month. And then after the 100 was probably about 2 weeks. After I did Ultraman, I could have ran 100 miles or 50 miles the next day. But
wow,
internally, dude, this stuff because my legs have got durable, right? It's just like anything, right? It's just things get hard.
Great. Yeah.
And so, but internally, my organs after Ultraman were whipped. I ended up getting sight during day 2 of the 3-day thing.
What is it?
Which is swimmer-induced pulmonary edema. So this is what happens. Like it happens to Navy SEALs all the time and swimmers, but it's essentially your lungs fill up with fluid. And so I ran the 52 miles on day 3 with that. And so like I couldn't really get big breaths. We're having blood oxygen issues during it as well. And like there was ambulances going to pick up people for the exact same thing that I went through. And during that race. And so we got through it because I was surrounded by the right people. One of my crew guys was Chris, he's a Navy SEAL, retired SEAL. So he knew how to handle it, thankfully. But the body was just, dude, like, it just needed to sleep for, months. And it took about a month internally to feel normal.
Wow.
It was insane. Yeah.
So how did you deal with it? Like you said your trainer knew how to deal with something like that. Like, how do you deal with something like that?
You know how to deal with this. I was getting like anxiety because I'm like, am I dying right now? Like,
yeah.
I don't feel like the body was just, I've never felt internally tired like that. Most times we're tired and it's like, we're mentally tired, or like, are physically tired, like on our bodies. But like, this was like internally tired. It was like an experience I'd never experienced before. But when this stuff happens, it really connects you to your body.
Yeah.
Right. And
I bet.
You realize that your body is a vessel.
Yep.
Right. And, and so we have to treat it well. Right. And then it really connects to the reason why I don't drink. Right. Why I do fuel it with good food, and why, like, I really start to confirm that everything we put in our body is either fuel or poison. Yep. Right. And also, and not only just in our food or stuff we drink, but also like what we see, what we hear, the people we are around, they're either fuel or poison.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to have 100% your life, or they're going to take value away from your life. Right. People are the exact same thing, but everything you touch is that way. So, it just, every time you go through hardship, you learn lessons. And by forcing my body through these things, right, I learned a lot of lessons. I learned them, in a matter of days, where most people take some 60, 70 years old to learn this shit.
Sure. Yeah. I love that. Did you do cold plunges right away, or is that something like a day or so?
Yeah, we actually did some cold plunging during Ultraman. I did it in between day 2 and day 3, which helps. But yeah, I got back, and that's usually what I do is like try to get into ice as soon as possible the next day, for sure. And that really helps with inflammation. After running 100 miles, my legs are super swollen. And so I was speaking on stages for like 3 days straight. But once I got into ice and elevated them, like it was like 2 days and I was back, which is pretty cool.
I love that. Damn, man, that is pretty impressive, and just wild to even think about. Like, mental sore, mental or like physical sore on your body from working out or something, but internal, like just like tapped out. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I was tapped out. I needed a good rest. And I mean, I remember my coach telling me stuff like this, like, even after you run up a marathon, as an example, like your lights might feel okay, right? Or you've been a half marathon, or it could be a 5K for some people, right? It's based on your heart and what your experience all is. But like your body might feel like it's okay, but he's like, dude, it's going to take 2 weeks to a month to recover internally. There's things that you can't see and feel that need to heal. Wow. And I really noticed it after that last one, but yeah. So, it's just like, I think the important thing to know is that we need to push ourselves, right? Because when we push ourselves, we do something we didn't previously believe that we could do. So it could be a 5K, could be, a really long walk, could be a long bike ride, could be, anything that's hard for you. But once you do that, what that does is to unlock new potential, right? You start to see the new potential that you can do more, you can go further. Right. And the further you go and the more you do and the harder you push, that is what develops this, because that's what creates hardness. Right. And as we endure, right, we have 2 ways to endure. We can endure unintentionally. So like death, sickness, financial stress, all of these things that's going to be unintentional. And we have to deal with that regardless, or we can do it on purpose. Right. But when we do it on purpose, it develops the skills so we can cope with the unintentional stuff. Right. And we can move on. We can deal with it better. We can support everybody else better. Right. It just makes us a better human. Right. So, that's why we need to do our things, level up, do our things, and consistently do this throughout our entire life.
I love it. You've also raised over $100,000 to charities. I assume, is that while you were doing some of these activities?
Yeah. We raised $85,000 for the 100 miler. The goal was 100K for $1,000 a mile. So it came up a little short, 85,000 for that one particular charity. And yeah, I mean, we raised probably, I'm going to like anywhere from probably around 30 grand a year for charities on a normal situation, on a normal year. But yeah, always trying to give back, and it's generally to kids, for a variety of reasons. But yeah, giving back is I think we have the moral obligation to do that, especially if we're fortunate enough to have money. And not only that, but also influence and relationships, and raising the money is not hard when it is for a good charity and you do what you say you're going to do. Like people I'll go to everybody that I've ever done business with and ask for $1,000. I won't ask for $10. I won't just say, hey, do you want to donate? Right. But you can do a lot of amazing, great things if you just ask. I'll ask for $1,000 and we'll get it. Right. And I mean, it's because I've always paid my bills and I put in the work. Right.
Yeah.
People know and show up. So they're like, John, you're going to do that. I'll give you $500 or grand for $1,000. Right? So, yeah, we've been fortunate that we've been able to help a lot of people.
I love that. That's so cool. Well, I know I asked previously, but is there anything, big coming up in the future that you really want to push yourself? Or is it right now it's kind of like you got some goals to finish off this island and then afterwards maybe 150 or 200? Anything past that that's really just next level?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I do want to do like 150 or 200 miler next year, and it'll be a mountain with like lots of elevation. So that's kind of my next thing. I'm doing a little bit of a reset here. We're going to get focused. It's starting in June and start, getting, probably set a schedule for a 100 miler in the fall.
Yeah.
But then really, I'm just really dialed in on business, dude. I think like what I used to thought was my superpower was being able to like have my hands in everything and do all of everything. And I think like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is to actually just niching in and getting focused on like less is actually more.
Yep.
And so I'm really focused on, 4 things: family, fitness. So family, fitness, relationships, and business are my 4 things. But in business in particular is where I was going with this. It's like, we used to have the construction company, property management company, the real estate company, the real estate investing education company, and we did well, but it was probably mediocre well, right? And so now what we're building is like a real company. And so with like real operations and SOPs and like real people that have core values that are the same as mine. They're a bunch of savages. And I'm enjoying it. And I'm just really excited to focus in more on that company and build it and just really just crush it. I mean, we're on a good path and I'm not getting derailed and unfocused. So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on.
I love it. Are you using EOS at all?
Yep. Yeah. I'm a game changer.
Game changer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like, I can't believe we operated it like without
like any business. Like it should be a mandatory thing. It really should. When you start business, it should be mandatory because it really it sets you up for excellence. I love that.
Oh man, like that get it, want it, the capacity to do it. I'm like, like that the core values.
Yeah.
Like you will never hire wrong again. Well, you may hire wrong, but you won't keep them around for very long. Right?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's changed my life. Yeah.
Yeah. The accountability, the meetings, more productive meetings. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Brady, how can the listeners get a hold of you?
Yeah, probably on social media, Brady.McDonald84. And they can go to 0to100.com. So we're doing a 100-day challenge for people. We do a 45-minute accountability huddle every Wednesday at 12 Eastern. So yeah, there's that. There's a whole bunch of sweet gear. There's, and the 0 to 100 is really just like, it's a mindset. It's a life philosophy. And it's a guiding principle that everybody can use, and especially kids too. Like kids love it, right? It's not just about going fast, but it's about being fully committed, right? It's about being on this journey from wherever you are, 0 to 100. And this is the life we're on. And so, we're really trying to just, it's completely free. Right. And so I'm not going to sell anybody anything unless you want to buy gear. But I realized what made me a better person and what's making me better at business and make more money and everything and just ultimately be more fulfilled and happy. And that's what we're trying to do with that 0 to 100 brand right now, is just get more people active, get more people into their body so they can become better versions of themselves.
Let's go. I love it. Yeah, that's incredible. Guys, I highly encourage you to reach out to Brady, check him out, see what he's got going on, follow him, and watch his journey. It will definitely inspire the hell out of you like it has for me. And he's just a wealth of knowledge, and his heart's in the right place as always. So yeah, reach out, connect, and share some love. If you guys want to get a hold of me, you can always do so on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, check out our new business page on IG, Credit Counsel Elite. And if you want to hear more about what we got going on at Credit Counsel Elite, check out creditcounselelite.com. That's www.creditcounselelite.com. There's a quick 10-minute video on there that explains a little bit more in detail what the hell we got going on and how we can best bless you. Afterwards, feel free to book a call with us to hear more about your story and where you're currently at, where you're trying to go. And as always, if you have not hit that subscribe button already to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, what are you waiting for? Do that right here, right now, and leave that 5-star review after listening to a few episodes. But appreciate you guys all greatly. Keep having a blessed day, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time, God bless.
Awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks a lot, pal.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.